Good morning, my name's Chiquita Searle and I'm the General Manager of the League of Extraordinary Women. We're absolutely delighted to have Kylie Lewis from Of Kin here with us today. Kylie is one of our League members and we wanted to invite her along so she could share a little bit about her journey with us. So Kylie, thank you so much for coming. Tell us a little bit about Of Kin.
So thanks for having me first. Of Kin is a consultancy. I have a collective of, I like to call them business and passionate digital strategists, and we work to help businesses get their head around content marketing and content creation, digital strategy and social media.
Excellent. Well, we're delighted to have you here with us today, so thank you.
Great, thank you.
So Kylie, tell us a little bit about Of Kin. Where did the idea come from to actually start your venture?
Well, after leaving my full-time job, I actually took a little bit of time off. I ran away to New York for a couple of weeks, went to a conference over there, took some time out and tried not to rush into doing something else. And I actually had quite a few people start asking me, what are you doing now? And I need some help with my digital marketing and my social media. Do you think you could come and have a chat with me? And I thought, okay, sure, why not? And so it was basically taking the skills that I had and reshaping them and repackaging them and delivering them in a way that I really wanted to.
Tell us about your background, because you worked with Kiki K for quite a number of years, didn't you? So tell us about your role with Kiki K and what you learned from that.
Yeah, so I was head of digital for them for a few years, and it was at a really pivotal and exciting time for them. So they had been going for 10 years, so I was part of their 10-year party, which was fantastic. And it's a brand that I really love. I'm a stationery freak from way back. And they're a great brand, and I had always loved and admired them. So actually getting that job was probably a dream job. In fact, I couldn't tell my mum that I was going for the interview just in case I didn't get it, because she knew I would have been so heartbroken. But while I was there, it was a period of really intense growth for them. And we re-platformed their online store from some old technology to some new technology, launched their international online stores as well. And it was at the time when they had a Facebook presence, but we started on Twitter, and then Pinterest launched, and then Instagram came on board, and so the social media growth was huge during that time. And also their email marketing campaigns was something that we looked at and really got more sophisticated and about, and grew their membership programs. So there was a lot going on, and we also launched another digital business, which is the Create with Kiki K business. So there was a lot to learn. It was a really intense environment.
I was just going to say, did you sleep?
I did, perhaps not as much as I would have liked, and I was so appreciative for the opportunity to work with such a great brand and awesome people. But also being a mum and trying to manage all of that, I did find that I just got a little bit, frazzled by the end of trying to keep up with that pace. So
as you do.
And
so is your background that you're a graphic designer?
No, I'm actually not.
You're not a graphic designer?
No, I'm not a graphic designer, but
you do digital marketing
in another life. Maybe I would have loved to have been. I've got a really great appreciation for design, and
yes. For some reason I thought you were a designer. I think it's, I follow you on Instagram, obviously, and beautiful post. But so digital marketing and social media, and so you've come back from New York after time away.
Yes.
And so people have reached out to you, and then how did Of Kin come to be? And tell us about, I guess, the journey of that. And then I just want to know a little bit more about your point of difference and what sets you apart from the other digital marketers out there.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you raise up that point about graphic design, because design is a really important part of my brand, and I think that's really how I stand apart from other people in this field. So a few years ago when I was launching the business, I really wanted to make sure that I was launching something that was really true to me and what I believed in, and an aesthetic that I really felt was more like me. And at that time, there probably wasn't a lot of people out there doing social media coaching or digital marketing in a way that had an appreciation for design. It was very salesy and,
just convert.
Yeah, and that was all it was about. And it was like, that's just not me. And also coming from somewhere working like Kiki K that has this beautiful aesthetic that is clearly theirs and that is true in every touch point that they have, that definitely rubbed off on me as well. And so I just wanted to make sure that I created something that I really could wholeheartedly stand behind. And so I worked with a graphic designer to get my brand. Interestingly, I had the name registered for about 5 years, and in another previous incarnation, I was wanting to produce a range of organic cotton clothing. And I had registered the name of Kin for that business venture, but kind of never got off the ground. So when I had the opportunity to start my own business, and it was about digital marketing and content creation and social media coaching and building community, and helping people connect with like-minded people, the name was sitting there and it was like, well, that's it. So I think the name also is, it has a little bit of a story to it, but it really gives people a sense that I'm all about creating connections that matter, and finding your tribes with, people who believe what you believe. And so everything that I do is really is design driven and comes from a place of really caring about connection, being true to who I am, and loving what I do.
So how long have you been in business for now?
It's coming on about 2 years officially.
Yes.
Yeah.
So still relatively new in the startup phase.
Yeah.
What's been the biggest challenge that you've faced since launching?
I think understanding my value is a really big one. So I think one of the first things I perhaps have learned from the first year of business was perhaps underselling myself. And I think that's a very common rookie mistake. And I think that's part of developing your confidence when you go out on your own. So I hadn't done anything like that before. I had freelanced and was doing work on the side while I was still working full time. So when I made the leap to working for myself, I already had a little bit of work lined up for myself and I had some experience, but actually going out there full time and thinking I need to now earn a living out of this, it took some confidence to get some experience in doing that kind of work under my belt, and then say, okay, I really understand my point of difference and what my value is that I can offer. So that was probably my biggest challenge. And the second thing was I was in a really fortunate position where I had a lot of opportunities. So I had people that I had worked with in previous roles, and it was kind of just fate. I hadn't actually changed my LinkedIn profile to say that I wasn't working with KikiK anymore, but I had people kind of ringing up out of the blue. One guy called me who I hadn't seen in 17 years, and he said, we're starting this new thing. I'd love to have lunch with you. We're really interested in what you have to offer. And I went and had lunch with him, and I thought, that's a great opportunity, but I'm just going to be going back to where I was. And so it was learning what to say no to and what to say yes to, and trying to be really clear about what I was trying to do, and not just run into doing the same thing again somewhere else. I was trying to create a life that was a bit more sustainable, a bit more flexible, and really, I thought, if I don't give this a shot now, if I don't try and create an entrepreneurial, flexible life for myself, now, when am I going to do it? And how can I raise my children to think that they could do the same thing for themselves if I haven't given it a go for myself? So it was understanding my value and knowing what to say yes and no to in those in the first year, and trying to get enough sleep in the process.
Yeah, well, probably still in that vortex.
Absolutely.
So in terms of you raised the challenge about understanding your point of value and then communicating that to your clients. So part of that, I guess, is setting the price points where you feel comfortable that your value is being met for what you're offering. So. I guess a part of that then is raising your prices, isn't it? And so how did you feel when you were doing that? Was there fear attached to that in terms of, are people going to stop coming to me? Or how did you feel about that? Totally. And what was the change in the caliber of client that you attracted? What was the biggest change there for you?
Yeah, totally there was a fear associated with it. I do have a business coach. I have a fantastic coach in Lyndall Mitchell, who is the founder of Aurora Day Spas, who's a wonderful executive and wellness coach. And it was working with her for a little while and being out on my own for a little while that helped me get a little bit of perspective, and so I was totally scared to do it. And I mean, every time I send out an invoice or a quote, I'm still like, oh, does this feel right? But what I found in doing that, one, it gave me a little bit more self-respect, I think, in terms of understanding my value and backing myself. And that was I think that's a really crucial thing, is having the courage to back yourself and know that you are worth what you're charging. And what I found is that the kind of clients that I'm getting now I still have a beautiful mix of sort of solo entrepreneurial people that I work with, and I have packages that are set up for them. But what I'm also finding now is that I have larger clients that bring in more sustainable reoccurring revenue as well. So I still love working one-on-one with people, but if that was all I did and did that, I would be a hot mess at the end of the day. So I do now have packages that are aimed at businesses that are perhaps a little bigger, that have more budget to work with, and have a more kind of considered approach to their broader marketing strategies.
I remember when we last chatted, you two were telling me a little bit about something that you were doing online. It was something a little bit different that hadn't been done before. You were offering some online courses and setting up a system for people to actually learn what you were doing, so it wasn't just you having to do all the doing constantly. You would have this other income. So tell us, where's that at?
Yeah, so I'm so glad you brought that up, because I do what I can. I was pounding the keyboard last night, actually, putting the finishing touches on the landing page to get that up and running. So in the next 4 weeks we'll be launching an online course which is all about helping business owners and creatives.
Because digital marketing is actually really hard to understand.
Yeah, and
there's just so much that goes in behind the scenes, and
and it's very broad. So digital marketing covers everything from your website to the under the hood SEO to email marketing to social media. There's a whole gamut of tools. You could specialize just in Facebook marketing.
Oh dear God, no.
Yeah, I know. I would rather stick hot pins in my eyes than do that. Facebook has its place, definitely, but there are definitely a whole range of other tools that you have available online for digital marketing. So
4 weeks, we're on the
path.
We're
to
at
launch.
the pointy end of business then.
Yeah, it'll actually be launching in the next week, but the open the virtual doors on the classroom will happen in the next 4 weeks, and it's really about content marketing, and it's about helping businesses create really useful content that's authentic to them, that helps their audience, and that comes from a really genuine place, and ultimately that moves people. I mean, that's the whole point of creating great content, is that you want people to think differently. You want people to make some change in their life, or to grow or expand, and so our content marketing course is really aimed at helping people build their courage muscle in finding their voice and backing themselves, creating great content on whatever platforms they find them in, or make sure that they know the platforms where they should be playing in, and the kind of things that they should be producing to earn the clicks for whatever they need, whether it's more likes, whether it's actually conversions to a newsletter subscriber base, or to actually buying something online.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Kylie. It's just been a delight to have you here with us today, and thank you so much for sharing your adventures.
That's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure.
Thanks.